Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers, y'all. But today is the day. Y'all know this day means a lot to me because this is my girl, and this is my love, and everybody knows. But I'm here with a multi-platinum legend. You know what? Let me run down his credentials. He's a singer, a songwriter, producer, but not even that. A man that produces the sound of all sounds for the past 30 plus years. None
Wow.
the only Mr. Arvel McClinton III. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Excellent. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? So, like, pretty much, how do you feel today is the 30th anniversary of this icon, this legend? Oh my God, 30 years in the making.
Uh,
Ready,
It's,
subject, album.
hard to believe that it's been 30 years. Wow. But
How,
I mean, it's very exciting and it's fantastic that it has carried on for so long. It's really amazing. Amazing. But she's an amazing singer, an amazing artist. So I, that's what happens,
I
right?
mean,
She's a legend.
right, right. You call her like before we knew her as be rocking all this stuff. I mean, she was Brand, baby Brand. That's what we call her.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
in the day when she first came out at 14 and stuff like that. But I mean, for oh my God, look at all the fans. Look, 30 years. There they go. Look, there they go. There they go. Oh my.
I see.
Look, they are ready. Oh my God. Like 30 years for this classic to be just the way it is. And then we're going to talk about the album cover, the amazing album cover you did, I'm Yours. But first, we want to get to know you as a person. So before we do get started, I want to ask you, I know since this era has been kind of crazy, how have you been since the pandemic, the 2020 era? How have you been, Mr. Arville?
Well, the 2020 was a little, it was crazy for, I think, for everybody. A lot of things happened. Lost some people, as other people did as well.
Yeah.
And I started some new ventures during the course of that time. Started a health and wellness club during
Yeah.
that time. Uh, and it's called Growth and Games, the Growth and Games Company. So it's something that we did with other musicians and producers who couldn't go on the road and were just kind of at home or whatever. We start day trading in the morning. So
Hmm.
we all learned how to, do that, which was really, really cool. But outside of that, kept recording, kept producing and mixing and
Hmm.
mastering. I got into mixing and mastering, opened up a company doing that.
Okay.
So it was, in the end, I learned a lot. I think everybody went to YouTube University during that time, you know, and we all learned a lot of stuff.
We
And
did.
yeah, so, and that stuff is helpful. And it brought a lot of people together,
Yeah.
because of the loss. I think a lot of people, appreciate other people a lot more. And that was great. So
Mm.
yeah, it's been
I,
interesting.
right. I was about to say, well, I know you started your company. I wanted, did it like, because I know you done producing and all type of stuff, even though you're done behind the scenes and stuff, did it like make you more open to your craft and just doing more things and open other lanes besides all the other stuff that you do probably before
I
the pandemic?
Yeah, well, as far as music is concerned, I really got into doing a lot more stuff with AI, which is so funny
Oh, Lord.
because everyone now is like AI, 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 and I was already kind of like I was doing it. A big part of that was you couldn't directly have a lot of people at your place at that time,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So either we were doing things online with each other,
Yeah.
or you started incorporating other ways of getting things done. And I really kind of got heavy on doing a lot of things with AI,
Hmm.
which is a whole nother,
It's,
subject for a lot of musicians. But to
yeah.
me, I consider everything a tool, right?
Hmm.
So, before synthesizers, people were just using like, maybe an electric piano. Before that, it was a piano. Before that, it was a harpsichord. Before that, it was you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever is the new tool is my instrument. So
Mm.
I'm not funny about, new stuff. I love technology. I'm a tech guy, but so yeah, so I, kind of I like it. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me. Hey,
Yeah.
somebody, somebody steal our jobs. I'm not that guy.
I agree with you because I think with the new wave coming in technology, it makes you more incorporated, but not it enhances you to do other things as more technology gets broadened in every decade.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Some
that
place. At some time in the past, the guy who, came up with the pencil was the enemy. The guy who had the quill and the little,
Right.
it's always,
Exactly.
it's whatever is next. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
not going to stop. I'm more like Miles Davis. I like going with the new tech.
Come on. Come on.
So let's do it.
You better talk about him. You better preach. All right. So thank you so much for that. So now I want to talk about now. See, Mr. Arvel, I was kind of doing my research and it was kind of hard because I'm like, I need to find out who this man is. You are a man of mysteries. I'm not gonna lie, you are because it's very. I was trying to find out where you grew up from. Did you grow up in California?
I I'm from Chicago originally.
Okay, figure that.
Okay, I spent my early years in Hawaii, so that's
Oh,
kind of what a disconnect
ooh,
is there. So I grew
okay,
up in Hawaii, and then we moved to California after that, and then I've been here ever since
okay,
high school, right?
right.
So I've been here, but yeah, that's why there's a little bit of a disconnect, yeah,
No, it's okay.
because of Hawaii.
Well, I
Yeah.
want to ask you, how was it like growing up in those areas? Like, did they make your love for music? Like, where did you get your love of music and R&B from? And then that, what made you and shape you into what you're doing now as a becoming producer? Like, what kind of navigated you to where you at today?
Well, my parents are both musical, right?
Mm,
So
okay.
with that, and my sister, I have an older sister who sang everywhere, right? And we traveled all over, everywhere, even
Right.
out of this state, just traveling around, just singing. And
Mm-hmm.
so we were like the Jackson Five minus three. Do you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So we like sang, and I was like the little brother who had the second soprano voice, right? Until it changed mid performance. Trust me, that was
Wow.
the thing. That was the thing. But yeah, so my parents, because we were on the island there in Hawaii, um, they had a lot of different records that they brought with them,
Okay.
right? So the James Browns, I mean, it was a wide variety of stuff. So in our house, you had James Brown, you had Aretha Franklin, but you also had the Beatles, you also had the Gentlemen of Jazz, Ramsey Lewis guys. We had records,
Mm-hmm.
and so we lived on an island with our family, so we
Mm-hmm.
spent a lot of time kind of isolated, and we were all together. So music was a thing, and my mom was a choir director. There was a church there where people from the military bases all went to that church because they were from down south. They were
Right.
from all over the place. So you have people from the army, the navy, everyone, and they all went to this church,
Mm,
and that church was a Baptist church. And there we got, really, because my mom directed all the choirs, right?
right.
So we were at church every day,
Mm,
right? And that's where we kind of got indoctrinated into that. The music really, was just on us at that time. So we've always been doing music. And then I have a brother, my younger brother, who also is a ridiculous producer,
mm.
and
Come on. I have.
he's worked on a lot of stuff too. We've done stuff together, LL Cool J case, some things, you know,
Right.
together. So we all three of us, have that musical upbringing. So that
Okay.
was kind of the basis for where the music was, right? And because we didn't have like we weren't there weren't any musicians, we were
Right.
singing. I kind of became a musician,
The musician.
right? I kind of became a musician, right?
Right.
And because I couldn't out sing my sister, so I had to at least like play the drums or something. You know what I
Right.
mean? Earn my keep, right? Before they threw me out.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I love that.
Right,
So
right.
once you did that and you transitioned, so when did you move to California? Did you get? Was that when you started your place in the music industry? How did that come about when you got here?
I we moved here and then we moved back to Hawaii. So we're going back and forth from here
Back.
to there. My father's job moved here, but
Mm, okay.
once we got here, my mom was like, eh. And so we moved back, right? And my father would just fly over on the weekends,
Oh wow.
right? And then finally we moved back again. So we did that a couple of times, and then we finally ended up here. High school is where musically I kind of really started to develop, getting into recording songs.
Mm,
I had another friend. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy named D. Levance. I don't know if you know D. Levance, but if you don't, if you get a chance, look him up. He's a bad boy, um, bad boy. And we used to record, and he's kind of the person who introduced me to recording on two different tape decks.
Oh
So
wow.
I was in high school at that point, and I was probably about 15, and I would record drums on one tape deck, and then I play that back and play the bass over top of it,
Mm.
and it go here, and then I send that back to the other until I had a song. It sounded like, but 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 the song was there. You know what I mean? It just had all the room noise, but
Right.
the song was there, and that was how it got started. And then
Mm.
kind of he and I, as a matter of fact, D. Levance and I, we wrote a song, and a guy named David Crawford, who's a producer, he
Mm.
heard the song and he thought it would be good on Vesta Williams, right? I don't know if you
Best
know
way.
Vesta,
Oh, yes, I do.
right?
Yes, I
So
do. Yes, I do.
at
Uh,
that point, I was 18,
mm,
and Dave Crawford was like, "I'm going to produce the song, but you guys could co-produce the song,
mm.
right?" So D. Levance and I were getting the co-production credit, and Dave Crawford was getting the credit. Now, here's the crazy part: um, we did not end up getting the song on Vesta's record. However, we did record the song with Vesta. So she did
Oh.
come to the studio and she did work with us and we recorded the song and it was really cool. It just didn't fit the scheme. They went for like a Minneapolis sound on some
Mm.
of the songs with Brian Loren. So it was a little different, like a Minneapolis, like a Terry
Yeah,
and Jimmy kind of.
this type of
And our
situation.
thing, we had our own kind of sound. So it didn't really, yeah, it was a great song. It just didn't really, gel
Fit.
with what else. Yeah. But that was the first professional production with Vesta.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. She's amazing,
Oh.
and it was just amazing to be in there with her to hear her do her
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
rest in peace to her. Oh,
yeah,
she's
absolutely,
such
fantastic.
a
I mean, and let me tell you something. She was hilarious. Vesta Williams. She should have had like back then. Like I didn't talk, like I'm talking now, but I didn't talk that much back then. I was a little bit more quiet.
it was her.
I was in my Prince era. I wasn't talking to everybody. So anyway, so she came to the studio. I'm kind of like laying back in the cut, but she's a hot mess. But I
Mm-hmm.
loved every moment of it. She just has
Oh,
like she had an incredible energy and
right.
the talent to go with it. That voice, oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
beautiful
yeah,
voice.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely, yeah.
truly a talent. So, okay, you would say that was your first professional thing, but it wasn't like a credit. So, my question is this, because I did do my research. Was your first placement with Club Nouveau? Was it with them in 1992, or was
It,
it somebody before then?
you know what? It's kind of hard for me to even pinpoint the first actual thing because I did a lot of stuff. I was working with a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean,
What?
but seriously, I recorded a lot, and
He was everywhere. He was everywhere.
I record a lot.
Yeah.
I still record a lot.
Mm.
And again, I told you, I mean, my thing was like, I got to be like Stevie Wonder and Prince, and I got to record. You know what I mean? So I've always just kind of recorded all the time.
Right.
So a lot of things were released. Some of them were on majors, some of them were on independent.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I think Club Nouveau at that time was probably the most uh,
No. Right.
known artist, right? Okay, Jay King is like he's my big brother,
Uh huh.
right? So I love him. That's my
Oh.
guy, right? Um, he I was introduced to Jay, and Jay, we just kind of connected, and he
Mm-hmm.
invited me to come up, and I ended up going out on the road with Club Nouveau,
Mm.
and playing with them.
Right.
And I was young, but it was fantastic, great experience
Mm.
to be out there with him and see what he was going through every day. Because at that point he was like doing something over at Warner. I think he was like VP or
Oh
something
wow.
working over there. And yeah, so yeah, I talk to him all the time. That's my guy.
Oh.
Yeah,
So in the 90s, like you said, you were doing a lot of stuff and you were doing a, like an indie and a lot of major stuff. So I'm thinking like
yeah.
the Club Nouveau, and then I'm seeing like this is 92, so you're in those early 90s. So Was your next placement with a Gerald Albright after that? Was in that realm as well?
Gerald Albright. When I did Gerald Albright, I actually cut Yours during that time.
Are you serious? You know this album made
Absolutely.
30
Now,
years this year.
here-
This album
here's
made
what's
30
really
years too.
here's what's really funny.
Uh oh.
I cut the Gerald Albright. I got stories. Just our story. It is what it is. Gerald Albright. I was working with Gerald, and I was working. We were working at his house, and he had a setup there at his house when we were working at his house. And I played him the Brandy, but it was rough,
Oh,
right?
so
I played him like a rough, and he was like, it's the pitch is a little, and I was like, man, she's dope. What are you talking about?
thank you, thank you, thank you.
But Gerald's pitch is like incredible, right? So
Mm.
he was right about a couple of the things. We went back and we fixed a couple of things. But like I said, now listen, I'm from the church, right? And then also just from the funk, that James Brown wasn't worried about any pitch. How did it how does it feel? You know what I'm saying? How does it feel,
Feel
right? Does it make you want to, are you know what I mean? Are you making the ugly face?
right.
Brandy makes you make the ugly face because she's got it. You know
There
what I
you go.
mean? She's got it. So yeah, that to me that was like the important thing. But I was working with Gerald at that time, and and I got a chance to play him, the Brandy,
Wow.
and he was one of the first people to hear it, and yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
and
Gerald,
that album just made 30 years this year. How do you feel about that album being 30 years old?
Um, all of it just seems like it's like really, really fast.
Right.
At that time, I was managed by two gentlemen, one named Kevin Lewis, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one was Raymond Shields. So they had a company called Black Dot. Black Dot um, uh, managed Gerald Albright,
Mm.
Layla Hathaway,
Come on, that's my girl.
Chucky Booker, right? These are the people that I saw like every day, right? Like you see these people like all
People,
the time, right?
right?
And they're incredible. And I'm wondering why am I here? But I was there too.
Thank you. You were there. You were
I was
there.
there,
You were there. Thank you.
right? Somebody slipped up and made a mistake, but I was there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was incredible. And
Oh,
Brandy came there to that studio. It was a studio called Arvel in Glendale, and she came there to record the song. Damon Thomas was working, like you heard the song with him and Robin, right?
yeah.
Him and Robin,
Love is on my side. Uh huh.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so he was already working on Brandy's stuff,
Yeah.
and he was looking for a room to record, right? Some more things because I
Right.
think he moved out of his room or something, and he was looking for a room to record. And he called me, and he said, "Hey man, I'm working on this project. I got it's this young girl. I mean, she's incredible. You got to hear her, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, And he said, "I'm come through and use the studio if that's cool." And I said, "Yeah, no problem." He said, "Well, why don't you just write on the song with me?"
Yeah.
And that's how it went down. If it wasn't for Damon, I wouldn't be on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he literally, I gave a place to record, but in return, I'm on this fantastic record with this fantastic artist, and
Oh,
Damon, who's gone on to do
big thing.
ridiculous things as well, right?
Mm.
So yeah, it was very, very, very cool how that came together. We were talking before, and I was telling you like the
Yeah.
way that her whole project came together. For anybody who's on here and is interested in getting into the music business or doing anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is luck, and a lot of it is just fate,
There you go. Tell
right?
me.
So
Yeah,
God is like a master chess player.
come on.
I'm telling you right
Right.
now because, and I give credit all day. That's
Amen.
something I do. But
That's right.
a master chess player, all those parts, they just they just fell into place for that
Mm.
record.
Yeah.
Her talent is one thing, and then the talented people that came together to make that album. There were some
Mm.
really talented people, like even the engineers who worked on that album.
Yeah.
Booker, who did
Mm.
like a Booker. I mean, he passed away, and
Yeah.
rest in peace. He is amazing.
Mm.
They just had like a vibe. Going in the studio with Keith and Booker is like what did I just walk into? Like I
Okay.
walked into the studio and Keith is playing some songs, and I'm like, what did I? Let me go home. I gotta leave. I'm gonna go home because now, yeah, I gotta go to work. I can't go to
Right.
sleep for like 2 or 3 days. These dudes are, what are you doing? And it was like that. Really was like that. When you
Right.
heard, you walk into Keith's room and Keith had these big monitors, you know, and he turns it up and Baby comes out.
Mm.
Baby, baby. You're like, right? And I'm just like, I gotta go home. Did I turn off my equipment? Why did I turn off my equipment? Why am I here? I need to go home and record. That's how it felt, right?
Right.
Everybody was doing something crazy. Kenneth Crouch came by
Hmm.
and he played me Always on My Mind.
That's my song.
And oh my God, listen, listen, listen.
You gotta
Kenneth,
preach, Miss Arvel. Look, you got people in the
Kenneth
comments going
Crouch,
up.
Kenneth Crouch is incredible, right?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I think Kenneth Crouch doesn't know how incredible he is.
Very talented.
I'm saying it out loud, give the flowers, right?
Amen.
Keith Crouch is a beast. Let's be real.
Yes, he is.
Sauce, something for the people. Rashad, Ro Holiday, my
Mm.
boy Fuzz,
Mm.
forever, right?
Yep.
Mark Lomax. You got to find Mark Lomax.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Lomax is the hidden gem
Mm.
in a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Great drummer, and just the mind, the historical musical mind that he has.
Right.
Incredible. The guy could tell you when you listen to a song and you hear a snare on the song, he could tell you where the snare came from.
Right.
What size it is. That kind of thing, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So there are people that were involved in that project that made, they were you she could, it was kind of hard for her to go wrong,
Okay. Let them
right?
know. They,
It was kind of hard to go wrong. The Williams brothers had a big part in that. Daryl and
yeah.
they had a huge part in doing that, and her mom as well.
Oh
You
yes.
know, I give Sonia a big props. Uh, for being a very, like, she wanted it like this, right?
Yep.
And
That's
that
true.
that rubs people the wrong way sometimes, but she knew what she wanted for her daughter,
That's
right?
right.
Which was, hey,
That's how. Look what it
you
is.
know what I
30 years
mean?
later, we talking about it, and we
Yeah,
talking about you.
yeah. Bravo for
Yeah.
all of that. And I really appreciate you doing this. That's it. Like, really, I know that it had an impact on you, but
Thank
it means a
you.
lot. It means a lot to those people who
Yeah.
were involved in making, a great project. So thank you. That's really
Aw.
cool. That's really
Okay.
cool.
Miss Arvin, this is you. Look, this is your day. Today is your day. You are a legend. I mean, you gave
Wow.
us
Thank
an
you.
icon. Like you gave us the first
Wow.
Black Cinderella on Disney. Let's
Wow.
be real for what it is. Let's be real. Your song impacted on that body of work. It means a lot. Like people call it a no skip album. That's why this album means a lot to all of us, especially all the Brandy fans. But I know you played a huge part. I know with yours. I know you were just talking about it. You played the drums, the keys, and you were doing the sequence on that body of work, correct? On
Yeah. It's a collaboration between with Damon and I.
you and
Damon played majority of the keys, right?
okay.
And and if you know anything about Damon, you can hear it, right? And what I did was I wrote the lyrics and melody,
Oh,
right? And I did the drums, and we did the sequencing and everything together.
right.
But the original, I mean, sitting down at the keys
Yeah.
and playing it, that's Damon.
Mm,
Um, which is incredible.
yeah.
I love that the melody. I mean, I could just him playing it. The melodic structure of it gave me instant melody.
Mm,
It's not that wasn't even a that's not even a question. I'll tell you something that this is an inside story that nobody
uh
knows. It's just between me and you, though.
okay.
Or anybody else. All right. So at that time, I lived about an hour away from the studio.
Okay.
We did the track. And I think we did the track like a few days before Brandy was coming to the studio. Well, there were some other things that I was working on as well. And I didn't have a chance to write the lyrics and melody.
Mm,
Okay,
Okay.
so I lived an hour away. So on the day of the session,
Oh.
um, yeah, on the day of the session, I got in the car
Uh-huh.
and I popped it in and I turned it on and I wrote that song on my way to the studio.
Are you serious?
That's how that song went down. Now, when I got there, here's the
Mhm.
kicker: there was no bridge.
That's the
The,
best part. You had to sound like Whitney Houston. Do you know that?
so
That's
here,
baby Whitney. That is
now,
baby Whitney.
now let me tell you this.
Okay.
This is it right here. So we get to the studio. I sing them, you know what it
Okay.
is. Um, Damon and I we go back over it. We make some adjustments. We do whatever.
Right.
There's still no bridge. There's music. There's a bridge for the music, but there's
Right.
no vocal bridge. Right?
Oh my. Mm-mm.
Willie Norwood
Baby.
can sing. If you
Let them know.
don't know,
Please
now
let
you
these
know.
please let these
Willie
people know that. Yes. Go
Willie
ahead.
can sing. So that's Willie in that bridge.
Norwood. Are you
In that bridge,
serious?
he's
Last
not
night,
singing. He's not singing the licks. All of the stuff that's happening. That's Willie.
baby, I knew he
No,
okay.
nobody else may say that to you. I'm telling you right now, that's Willie. Right.
You got people
So
in the comments shocked. Do you know that? You got people in the comments shocked. Oh
yes,
my
that
God.
Willie. Her father, he can sing. They're
See?
from Mississippi. He got that thing on him.
Okay.
And so
Church.
when it gets to the bridge and you're hearing that
Mm.
exactly. So we're
That ain't nothing
giving
but baby Whitney. Mm-mm-mm.
yes, we're giving her words, right? And Willie is helping along with the coaching on, no, you might want to,
Uh-huh.
you didn't take it here, blah, blah, blah. That's Willie Norwood. So
Okay.
there you go. Now you know something you didn't know for 30 years.
What?
Willie Norwood.
We
Uh,
got the exclusive people.
getting you some tea, right?
What?
So
Oh my
yeah, so
God.
that's how that kind of went down. And it was just it was meant to be because as soon as she started singing it, it's not in my key, clearly. But as soon as she started singing it, it
Yeah.
just felt good. It felt good. It felt good. There was a song by an artist, Brian Adams.
I know
Um,
Brian Adams.
yeah, so there was a couple of songs that were out at the same time, and I those songs are some of the things that kind of shaped me to writing the melody and writing some of the things in that song. There's nothing like you can't hear anything. It's not like a borrowed melody or
Yeah.
anything like that. It was a vibe that I got from those songs, right? And it kind of it made me like, oh, yeah. So when I turned it on and I was driving in the car, that was kind of what was spinning in my head. And by the time I got there, I had the first and second verse and the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So now and forever on your that thing. That was already there. That was and that has a lot that had a lot to do with the Brian Adams, you know, it was something that he was doing at that time that kind of, made that happen.
Miss
Yeah.
Arvel, when I say you are, why I keep saying it? Why I keep saying it's the blueprint and the foundation? You know why I keep saying that? Because the reason why you said Brian Adams because Brandy's second album, her last song is "Everything I Do for You."
Yeah.
You see how we just connected it. That's why I call this the blueprint. This is the
That's right.
foundation. This is the
That's
blueprint.
right. That's
Okay,
right.
you better let you better let these people know. You ain't. I can't even deal. But I wanted to let you know, Brandy had said a beautiful, beautiful quote about your song back when the album made 20 years, and I got to read this to you.
Oh
She had
wow.
two quotes, but one of them I want to read about the one because she talked about this, and then Billboard talked about it again when it made 25. But this is what Brandy said about I'm Yours. This is how she felt about it. She said, I love the melody. I felt like it sounded like a huge ballad at the time. I'm not trying to put it on the same level she was talking about the song, but she said she felt like the song is like the greatest love of all by Whitney Houston.
Wow.
She feels about it. She said, or anything, but it sounded like a kind of song for me. So she compared this song to Greatest Love of All. How do you feel that Brandy
Yeah.
said that about the song? Oh,
Wow. That's a humongous compliment. And coming from her, that wow. Thank you.
oh,
Thank you, Brandy.
okay,
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you for singing the song, Brandy. Thank you for putting it
okay.
on the album, Brandy.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
that,
That's
that, ain't
sweet.
nothing ain't nothing but Baby Whitney. I already said that's Baby Whitney Houston. Y'all had a single like Whitney Houston. We
She
already knew what that was about.
she was really like she had a voice. You know, you hear these voices that happen in some young people, like
Yep.
Jasmine Sullivan had that voice, right? She had
Yep.
like that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Brandy had that voice. It was
Mm.
mature already, and she had a lot of control,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
when you worked with her, as soon as she opened her mouth and she was on the mic, I'm
Yeah.
used to working at that point. I was already used to working with Layla Hathaway, who's a beast,
Beast.
right?
Beast.
But
Right.
but like yeah, I used to go to Layla's house on Tuesdays and we would write every Tuesday. I look back at that myself and go, what? You know what
What?
I mean? It was like really cool. But having worked, with other great vocalists and then coming into the studio with this young, 14-year-old, it was like, whoa. I worked with another artist like that, and that was Shanice Wilson, who had that thing too, right?
Mm.
So, but it's rare. It's that
That-
far
yeah.
apart. It's as far apart as Brandy and Shanice, right? It's that
Mhm.
kind of thing where you actually bump into somebody who has that the voice and the control to go with the
Mhm.
voice, right?
Yeah.
And she had the pipes. She had the pipes. There's no doubt. And it wasn't like I worked with people where we're pulling teeth to get the verse, or we're
Yeah.
pulling teeth to get but she wasn't like that. She just has
Mm.
it. She has it. You give it to her. She sang it back. It was phenomenal. It's not
Oh,
something that you forget, even though it was 30 years ago. You remember.
that may,
You,
that's
you remember.
why she still resonates. And I want to say this next quote. So, and back in when it made 25 years in 2019, they Billboard did a ranking of the tracks for this body of work, which I love and admire, and
Right.
they ranked yours number 14. And this is what they said about the song. They said it's possible that Brandy was inspired by the 80s R&B hitmaker Anita Baker. That's what they compared it to on this heartfelt slow jam. As
Wow.
Baker was praised for her ability to deliver a earth-shattering ballad, but in this album pack with a similar tunes, I'm Yours fades into a background as the album progresses. So it feels like it was the beginning of how the album was going to be. How do you
Right.
feel that Billboard said that?
Um. You know what? Thank you.
All right.
Maybe I don't know if that was supposed to be a. I don't know if that was supposed to be a diss, but
No. It was no. It was. I think what they were saying, and I love about it, they compared it to Anita Baker. That's
uh,
why I
you
heard
can't
that.
go wrong there, right? And
Okay.
all of these things. Now you're saying this stuff. All of these things go together. Gerald
Yes.
Albright used to be Anita Baker's. On her tour, he was her guy. So funny. All these things go together
So you
like that.
see
But yeah,
how Billboard compared that? I mean, they
that
feel
that's
like a
that's
classic.
big. That's
But for
big.
but for Brandy to compare it to Greatest Love, I know that means a lot to you. How the way she did,
Wow. I
sweet.
mean,
That was so sweet. She did
man,
that.
that's very sweet. Very
Oh,
sweet. I didn't know about that.
oh
I
yeah.
wasn't I
She
wasn't
said
aware.
she said it the greatest love of all. That's what she compared it to the greatest, her greatest love of all. That's what I'm gonna make sure of that.
I wasn't aware. That's
Oh,
pretty fantastic.
that is. Look,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you since this album did go 7 times platinum, it is eligible for 7 times platinum. I don't know if you know that, Mr. Arville. It's seven
Yeah.
times platinum. Not
Yeah.
even that it was number 6 on the charts and number 20. Not even that this is Brandy's most sampled album. Not even that this is her second biggest album out of her whole catalog. So I
Right.
want to ask you, out of all this, how do you feel that this album this year has made 30? But not even that, how do you feel how successful it was? And not even that, you gave us our first Black Cinderella. How do you feel that this album was a monument for her legacy?
I think that's amazing that your first record as a 14-year-old, 14, 15 years old, you
Thank
came
you.
out swinging. Do you know what I mean? She really did come out swinging. She came out the gate swinging, right? So for me, that's like, bravo.
Come on.
Seriously, that's like, how do you top it, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
she managed to top it. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's the second, number two. But I mean, she was just amazing. There was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And now, when I listen to her now, right,
Oh
and I
yeah.
hear her singing now,
Come.
her control is like, some people hit a plateau, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they flatline out. Like
Yeah.
they start young, they're like a prodigy, and they start young and they go up and then they kind of level
Yeah.
out, right?
Mm-hmm.
her situation, she hasn't seemed to. She's not leveled out. She's still getting better with her control, her breathing, the
Yeah.
tone.
Mm.
Right, her tone is like, ugh. You know, when I hear it, I still make that ugly. That's that ugly James Brown Parliament Funkadelic face I'm making when I hear her do the the runs and
Yeah.
with the control that she has. Like I've seen her. She's posted stuff online with her doing vocal warm ups and stuff like that, and you
Yeah.
hear some of the stuff, and I'm just like, ooh, ooh, right? Like you feel it,
Mm.
and so she's like, there's not much more. I mean, I could say except for
Oh,
thank you
oh,
to everyone who has supported that album over the years and
oh,
Brandy. You know what I mean? And keeping it alive and for it
yeah.
to be eligible for 7 times platinum. That is like
Mm.
that's fantastic. That's
Oh.
fantastic. And God is good. That's something. That's
I mean,
something.
this album influenced Erica Baduism. I mean, Jill Scott. I mean, come on, you went and opened the door for Erica Badu. Like that speaks volumes when you can do that. And she was 24 at the time when this album dropped. So for her to be
Right.
inspired by that, you have grown folks like my late mother. She was 30 years old when she bought Brandy's album. So you have
Wow.
older folks, and I was
Wow.
5, and
Right.
at all ages, this album means a lot.
It,
It really
it,
does.
it, it's really, where do you listen to it if you don't mind me asking? Like do you play it in the car? Do you listen to it at home? What do you
Everywhere. I play it on my phone every day. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I don't care. I play it on my phone. I play it on YouTube. I play it on my page. I'm just very like driven, and then I even have the vinyl. So I mean,
Wow.
you can't go wrong with the vinyl. I mean,
You cannot go wrong with the vinyl. I don't have the vinyl.
well, I would say out of all Brandy's albums, this is the one that's always in the stores. This is the one that's always in the stores.
Now I gotta go
Her
get it.
debut Her debut was always in the stores.
Gotta go get it.
The albums after this one is kind of hard to find because you have to go on the websites, but this album's at Walmart, Target, they're everywhere. Her debut's
Wow.
everywhere. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
One,
that album, the sound of it is really good. I can imagine like playing it on a really good system for vinyl probably sounds really nice.
you know it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Aw, I
That's
appreciate
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Aw. So Miss Arvel, so now since you've done so much, the success of Brandy, and I know you did amazing stuff out there. You worked with LL Cool J, one of his great albums that I do love because I love that album as well. You worked with Case, you worked with everybody. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is the key ingredient of making a hit, and not even that, and if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
I don't have a favorite song from my catalog. I do not
What?
because I don't because like
Oh,
everything that I worked on is a moment, right? So
okay.
all of those moments, um, they come with different emotions,
Yeah.
right? So some of them, it may not be the best song, but it might have been a great moment, right? So it's kind of hard for me to say like that's my favorite song, right? A lot of the stuff that I worked on that probably is some of my favorite stuff that I've done.
Mhm.
Probably has something to do with something for the people because
Yeah.
of the relationship, right? We did a lot of stuff together. We had a lot of laughs together. We hung out. It's like a brotherhood type thing. So a lot of stuff I did with them was probably favorite stuff because of the memories connected, right? And
Yeah.
all of the people that were involved, like Trina and Tamara, you
Mm,
know what I mean? Just the people who were around at the time.
yeah.
There are writers. There are people that a lot of people don't know about
Yeah.
who were around, like Mark Lomax. Like I've said to you that Mark Lomax is like the hidden gem in all of it.
Mm,
He's like incredible, right?
yeah.
Mark Lomax. You have people like Tim Carmen that was around with us doing things that they've all gone on to do amazing things. Tim Carmen is the musical director for Eric Clapton,
Come on now.
right?
Well, no
I mean, like,
said. I'm upset for that.
and one of my best friends, and he's just like a real humble guy and very
Aw.
talented guy. Like I said, Damon Thomas, being part of a lot of stuff, but there was a lot of people around, like Puff Johnson, Michi
Oh yeah.
Day. Michi Day was there. Then we used to do a thing where we used to play tag. So we would record a lot at Sauce's house, and a person would go into the studio and everybody else would come out, and the person would take the song as far as they could. They walk out into the room. We'd all be out in the den, and they just walk up to somebody and go tag, and then you had to go in, and it didn't matter who you were, whatever it was that you did. Eric Benet, he was there too,
Come on.
um, right? And it didn't matter what you did. Whatever you did is what you were going to do when you went into the studio. If you sang, then you were going to write. Right. There was another guy named Les Butler who also passed. Really, oh my God, incredible guy. He played on a lot of the stuff as well. And he played multiple instruments, just amazing. Another really, really close friend of mine. And um, we were all there and everybody got tagged. And when you got tagged, you just went in and you just did what you did. And
Yeah.
it doesn't always show up on the credits.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but there are people that just went in and did hand claps.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But they got the best hands in the house. So they did the hand clap. You know what I mean? Whatever it was that you did, right? Gordon
Right.
Jones, my boy Gordon Jones, my boy Kenya Baker,
Oh
right?
wow.
I mean, all of those people, without those people, those moments didn't happen. And
Yeah.
I don't forget those people. And if there's anybody that I did not mention, trust me, yeah, it's just slipping my mind right now. But there were so many people that made the music great around that and around this album,
Come on.
and around the things that, I mean, if you ask me what were my favorite songs, there were just so many great people, even actors and actresses that came in and lent their voices as voiceovers. We have people that would just stop by, right? Monica Calhoun, just people,
Yeah. I
right?
love
That
her.
just they just stop by and they would just, get hop on stuff, right? And Sauce's house was kind of like I mean, I had a studio at my house. Rashad had a studio at his house,
Right.
but Sauce's house was kind of like the go-to house.
I hear that. He said in the
It was
last.
just, it was like the place, right? Sauce, because he was a bachelor, right? At the time I was married, I had family. But
Right.
Sauce's house was he was a bachelor. He had the pool, he had a pool table, he had you know what I mean? It was like that's where we went, right? Sauce's house. So we would go to Sauce's house and we would record, a lot of the stuff. So that's where a lot of things came at that time. Stuff for Dina Howard,
Yeah. Deep
there was
down
a
you
lot
did.
of there were a lot of people that came through there, and we recorded with a lot of people. Yeah,
Mm.
Angie Slates. It was an
You did Cy
incredible
Smith.
writer.
Oh my God. Yeah. You did Cy Smith. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shy. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
It's all right. I got
That's
you.
baby sis right there. I'm so sorry. That's baby sis. She's like an amazing writer and an amazing singer and a performer. I mean, she's out with Chris Bodie. And if you get a chance, go see Sai. Go see Sai. Go see
Mm.
Sai when she's doing her own show. Sai's amazing, right?
Mm.
So yeah, there were a lot of really, really incredible people that came through there. And then we were also lucky to have some A&R people that were, around that liked what we were doing, like Allison
Right.
Ball Gabriel over at Warner,
Well, I know House and Ball. Yep.
right? So those people, they were like in there. They made sure that stuff was going on. Mike and Byron, they were managers, and they went on to run Hollywood Records,
Mm.
right? Disney's label, right? And so there was like a lot of people that came through that made this stuff possible, the
Come on.
Brandy stuff possible, right? Aaliyah came through and recorded with that Sauces.
What? Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Hold on. Not R.I.P. to her, but what? She can't do. Oh my gosh.
there's a
What?
lot of people. I'm telling you, I
Wow.
I can't really. I mean, it will slip my mind. There's so many amazing people that came around, right? And we got a chance to work with people. There are people that we worked with that uh, came around a lot, and then there were people that just came through a few times, right?
Right.
But
Right.
it was amazing, amazing. And you learned, like I said, you learned from everybody as they came through. You had like engineers like Kevin Davis, KD. I don't know if you know KD,
Katie
but
Davis. Yeah. He worked with
yeah,
us. Mm-hmm.
KD. He worked on all of the stuff that we did with Something for the People, and KD has
A
done stuff
big
for
catalog. Mm-hmm.
Grammy award winning guy. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of people, a lot. And I don't want to forget anybody, so I'm gonna stop saying it before somebody's gonna get mad at me.
It's all right. They
Yeah,
know. They know.
I don't want that. Yeah, but it there this that time, it was the time where the
Mm-hmm.
stuff was going on, and it was just we were exchanging a lot of things back and forth between each other, and we got a lot of stuff, done. A lot of things, Glenn McKinney,
Oh,
you know,
that's my brother.
oh my
I
God,
interviewed him a couple years ago. Best
yeah,
friend. And he was
yeah,
on my ringtone 9 years later. 9 years later, he was
yeah.
on my ring.
I mean, we
That's my
talked about Cherie. Um,
oh, that's my girl. Her and Brandy
I'm
sound like twins. Her and Brandy
her
just sound like
her
twins.
her
Oh,
voice on recordings, right? Like some people have that voice that when you record that voice and you play it back, you
yeah.
just you feel it, right? Trina and Tamara are like that, right? You feel that thing, and then here comes Brandy. Here comes this kid, right? You got all these grown people, right, and all this talent, and then this kid walks in the door, right? And she gets on the mic, and you go, what?
Hmm.
Like she's been eating Wheaties. This girl, stuff is going on.
Sound like
She,
yeah. Look, sound like y'all was rent was due. Look,
what?
rent
Well, you
was
knew it was
due.
coming after she sang the first note. You knew it was up, right?
Oh,
You're like, oh no, yeah, no. How many songs can I get on this? How many songs can I get on this?
look,
Is there another slot, right? But I think like our song, if I'm not mistaken, our song and Kenneth's song, always on my mind, were the two last. I think I'm yours and the Kenneth song were the
right.
two last songs. And but when he came to the studio on a day where we were working with her,
Mm-hmm.
and he played me that track.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I was so mad. I was mad.
Why was you mad? Look, I love ballads. Look,
It was dope.
yeah, it was. It
He
was.
played that song, and I was like, "We're doing a ballad." And he's
I
coming
love.
in here with this,
But
right?
look, Brandy said it's her greatest love of all. So I wouldn't get
I
mad.
can't. I'm not mad at it now. I can't be mad now.
You
But
can't.
I like up tempos.
Whatever.
I'm a funk guy, right?
Yeah.
So when that came on, ooh, always on man. What? What? I looked at him. I'm like, see, about to throw something at Kenneth for that. But that was amazing. That song was amazing,
Yeah.
amazing song. All of them, as you go back and you listen to those songs, um, they all they have a thing that nothing else was out like that.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
That was such a unique um, compilation of the work, the way that it was compiled and put together.
Yeah.
It was unique and tailor made for a 14-year-old,
Period.
14, 15 years old. I mean, what? What?
You got hip
What?
hop head sampling this album. Come on now. Like when you get
I
hip hop,
mean, the remix
come
of "I
on.
Want to Be Down."
Yeah.
I, you know what? When that remix came out, Keith, wow,
Yo, Kemper.
you outdid yourself.
They out, yo.
You
Remix.
outdid yourself. Yeah, it was funky.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was it was it was funky, and that thing influenced Faith, right? When Faith's first single came out,
Yeah.
that was very "I Want to Be Down."
Mm.
If you go back and listen to it, you're gonna be like, "Whoa!" Right? It's
It's an
very "I Want to Be Down," right? But that's the vibe. That's where we were. Right in that thing. Things were starting to change, and we caught that wave. So it was really, really, really cool. So
I love that.
again,
I love
thank you again. Thank you for doing this. You're great.
that. Oh, no problem. I appreciate it. Look, it's 30 years today. I mean 30 years. Look. One
Yeah,
small stop. The world
30
shifted.
years.
Like they said, the world shifted when she came out. It was a wrap. It was a wrap.
30 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
30. 30. Look, I can't wait to hit 40. And then I'm gonna be really cutting up and then I'll be my 40s. And
Ah,
that's a whole nother. But I wanted to ask you since now we are in the 30 years and now and we're in the current era of 2024. I know you said you had your business and everything. What current projects are you doing right now? And I see that you're working with new artists. How is that going with your new era of 2024?
now what I'm doing now is we kind of switch gears. I have been working with some new artists,
Mm-hmm.
right? But mainly my brother and I are doing a music library.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so we're doing things for TV, film, commercial, more than artists.
Mm-hmm.
I I am working with some artists, but the major focus for us right now is building the catalog for the music library. So the music library is called TRX Depot, so Tracks Depot,
I see that.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're building. So on my Instagram page, I don't know if you ever go over there, but on my
Yes,
story, I put stuff up,
you do.
over and over and over. They're like 1 minute clips, right? And you can kind of hear different songs that we're working on. So
Yeah.
those are all things that we work on daily, and we're trying to just build up a huge catalog. Stuff that you haven't heard, I usually put up mostly R&B stuff on there. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
R&B. I put up a couple of pop things, and we've put up a
Yeah.
couple of uh, not gospel, but like inspirational things as
Right.
well. But we have all kinds of stuff, jazz stuff, rock stuff, hip hop stuff. There's all kinds of things. I just haven't been putting them on there. I started a page on Instagram, Tracks Depot, but we
Right.
haven't loaded it up with everything yet.
Mm.
We've just been building up the catalog. So as
Mm.
soon as that's up and ready, I'll let you know. I'll let
Okay.
you know. There's a lot
Let
of
me.
stuff. I mean, you could also use this stuff even in your podcast, or just even for your page on Instagram. Doesn't matter.
That's dope.
But that's what we're focusing on now, to get stuff into film and television. Yeah. Yep. That's the
And
main
that
focus.
makes sense. What you do, producing, I mean, that goes in all other ways.
Yeah.
Television, film. It's like the way technology has, you can branch out to anything. It doesn't have to be specifically with music, but anything towards outside of the arts makes
Right.
sense. Oh
Absolutely.
my God, that is amazing.
Absolutely.
Uh, Mr. Arvel, I have another question for you. So, since today is the 30th anniversary of this body of work, oh my God, 30 years. 30 years, our first Black Cinderella.
There you
30
go.
years. Uh, if you had to describe one word about this beautiful, timeless album, Brandy, what one word would you describe it?
Wow. Classic.
Oh, why do you say classic?
It's a classic. It is one of a kind. It was definitely one of one. Um, None of the rest of her work sounds like that. Even though I like the work, it doesn't sound like that, right? It's
Right.
different from that. So it has its own thing. It does have a timeless nature to it as far as R&B,
Yep.
right? But it definitely is a classic within itself. It's like kind of to the side. There were other artists at that point, like
Hmm.
you had your Monicas, you had other people,
Yep.
right? And I did some programming on some of that stuff too, but
Hmm.
it's like it's not like this. It definitely has its own, spot, right? So you have all the other, stuff, and then you have, Brandy. You know what I mean? Like it had its moment. You know what I mean? So to me,
Yeah.
that's classic. It's just like a classic thing, you know.
Mhm.
So that'd be my word. Classic.
Oh. Well, my word for this, well, I have actually two words. My two words for this album is superstar and foundation, the blueprint. When I
Love it.
say those words, it completely like, I don't know if Miss Arthur, I forgot to tell you this too. Also, this is out of all the Brandy's catalog of her albums, this is the only album that has lasted for the longest on the charts, 89 weeks. 89 weeks.
Wow.
89 weeks.
Wow.
Out of all her albums, this is the longest charting album on her whole
You got
catalog.
you have to send me these stats. I didn't know these
Oh, I'm gonna
things.
send you the stats. I'm gonna
Yeah,
send you the
send them
stats.
to me.
89 weeks on
Send them to
Billboard
me.
200, 87 weeks on the Billboard R&B charts.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And the reason why I say this too, because this album really opened the door for so many things. I mean, y'all gave us, like I keep saying, the first Black Cinderella, first television song Moesha for Brandy. Like this album needed to do what it did to open the doors for her, but not yet open to be the foundation of her legacy. In my personal opinion, I'm yours. I mean, we got Whitney Houston and Coco from SWV because I know Brandy, she had said that Coco was the influence of this album.
Yeah.
With those two alone, it made perfect sense why the way Brandy sings what she sings. She gives you church. She gives you vocals. She gives you the love of R&B. She gives you soul. She gives you all that. And I
Right.
feel like what you did with this body of work, and I'm yours, I love it. This is her greatest love of all. I'm her Whitney Houston. When you did that, the metal of I, that sounds like Whitney Houston. I've always loved it.
Right.
It's
Right. Right.
little intricacies in this album. But for me, what Brandy did was she opened the door for herself and her legacy. And forever and a day, this album is the classic. It's her most sampled album, the longest running album of her whole entire catalog. But not that it opened the door the blueprint and the foundation, and that's what this album means to me, and that's why I call it Superstar Foundation.
That's
Definitely.
great. That is
Yes.
great. I hope you get a chance to get her on here to talk to you.
I would,
That would be
you know,
amazing.
look, I would cry. I think I would cry because I think she'll make me cry. I can't look. I'll be like, I gotta be so happy. But I mean, Mr. Arvel, what you did for Brandy and you and Damon and everybody a part of this body of work means a lot. And for it to be 30 years old, it speaks volumes in every way. And I love for what you did for it. And I'm yours is a classic. And that's why I say every song on this album, like I say, I have to really agree it is a no skip album. I can't skip nothing off this album.
Yeah, no, no.
Okay.
I just let it play when I listen to that. I actually let it play
Yeah.
because it's like plus the memories that go along with it, right? And you like you're saying, 30 years
Come on.
over that time, you have memories that have grown with that record, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, amazing,
Mm,
amazing,
mm.
amazing.
Oh, I love that. So I want to ask you another question. What advice, like you said, about giving people about the music industry for what we know now? It's a new era, new wave. What do you have to give for up and coming artists about what they should do when they want to get involved in music?
Um, First, they got to do their homework on the
Thank
business side of it, right? Because there's a when it comes to the business side of it, I think a lot of people hop in, they want fame,
Yeah.
and fame lasts 2 seconds. Like you could don't get me wrong, you could run out here and you could
Yeah.
have a hit that could happen for you, and
Yeah.
hopefully it does. Anybody who's listening, I pray for you that you find your success.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right. But at the same time, I mean, make sure that your paperwork or whatever is good. Make
Yeah.
sure that you have a good team of people with
Come
you.
on.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what Layla told me. She actually wrote it on liner notes of one of her albums
Mm.
about Chucky Booker and I, right? Because Chucky is a one man shop. I was a one man shop. I played all the instruments myself. I sang the stuff I did, blah blah blah. And Layla said, and that only as Layla could, she said, Arvel and Chucky, no one man is an island.
Mm.
And wow, I never really, thought about doing a lot of collaborating.
Yeah.
Well, when she did that, I took that to heart.
Yeah.
So something like Brandy wouldn't have happened if
Mm.
I didn't collaborate.
Mm.
Uh, you see what I'm saying? And then the
Yeah.
same thing with all the other things that I've been able to do and still do. That comes with a lot of collaboration with other people. So you gotta, you know, learn how to collaborate with people and
Yeah.
to be able to work you know, with good people. You gotta find good people.
You
You gotta
do.
find good people to work with.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And it
Good
doesn't
say.
matter where you are. I mean, because people will be like, "There's nobody in my town." You know what I mean? These days, you've got the internet. You can
Right in
your
your own.
town. Doesn't matter what your town is. You can kind of find people to work with.
Yeah.
So that's a big. It's a big thing.
Mm.
Collaboration is probably key. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Networking, like you hear people say networking, but definitely know your business. Know your
Come
business,
on. Right.
right? And pray.
Yes, Lord.
Got got to have God with you, or you're really in trouble in this one. You
That's
got to
right.
have God with you,
That's
or you're
right.
really in trouble in this business. So make sure
Mm.
you have that, right?
Amen. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I want to ask you, do you have any last words that you would like to say, Mr. Arvel? Anything you have to say today, involving yourself for the 30th anniversary of Brandy? Anything you want to tell Brandy or anything you want to say for yourself or how do you feel about everything today?
I want to say congratulations to everyone who was a part of this album. You guys are all amazing, still amazing. To
Mm.
the people that aren't here with us anymore, rest in
Uh,
peace, and thank you for everything that you've done. Brandy, you're amazing. I love you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your project and continued success. And to you, thank you for having me here with you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so
mm,
much. All right.
uh,
Hope we speak
uh,
again.
yes, I hope we do. Like I said, look, and hope for 30 more years to come or years to come for other albums. So I'm just
That's
excited
right.
about this. But happy 30th anniversary. And y'all, we are done with our beautiful interview with the R&B legend. I mean, multi-platinum singer, songwriter, producer. I mean, the man is the sound of all sounds and pretty
Wow.
much ballad into a heartfelt legacy. Mr. Arvel
Thank you.
McClinton. the third.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a bye bye.
Bye.